My mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another episode of Future Financial Strategies. This is going to be a special episode. I do have a framework for this episode. We're trying to do a little bit better, but this is an important one, and I said I was going to do it. Obviously, it's been a few weeks since I went on my tangent, and I said I was going to do a breakdown episode around the wolf pack mindset and the wolf pack mentality. Now, I know this is going to be a break from just jumping straight into strategy, but one of the things that I think is important is to articulate and put my mindset out into the ethos, which is kind of puts a little bit of logic on how I look at things, the way that my brain works, and what I am looking to cultivate over here within the wolf pack, the community that we're starting to build over here, the people that are participating, and the people that are watching, ghost watchers, those of you who take the time to comment down in the comments. I also am going to use this episode as the landing video for the show. So I want to welcome everybody. Those of you who have been here more than twice, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, turn everything on. I'm not one of those content creators that flood your feed. And yeah, we're gonna jump into it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rifting. And if this connects with you, if this is something that you can get behind, if this seems like one of those channels that might add value in your life, then yeah, go ahead and join us. Join the wolf pack. There's always room for more people. One of the core tenets over here is it ain't cool to be the only person at the table that's eating. Nobody wants to get rich by themselves. They say it's lonely at the top. Maybe you cast a little bit of gems amongst swine. I mean, it's not going to get you burned at the stake in this day and age, so we can afford to do that. So we put the information out there for everybody, and the people that want to take this journey with us are more than welcome to join up. And, it is what it is. So, having this formatted, I want to welcome you to the channel. Obviously, this is going to be the landing video that's on the thing. Couple of caveats. The way that I record, I do everything off the cuff. I do not I do pre-record, but these are one shots. I don't edit these, obviously. It's just me talking to you, talking to myself. Well, actually, I guess it's me talking to myself, then talking to you. And you guys tap in with me down in the comments. I do check my comments. Obviously, it's a small channel. There would be no reason to not interact with the peoples. And it's a documentation of my financial journey. So that's going to start us off. The first topic. I've got this lined out so that it keeps me reined in, because I am known to go on tangents, and this will be controlled tangents. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? We'll start off with why I'm here. Actually, I'm going to invert this one because I have to be oppositional and defiant. I don't always follow the rules, including my own. I originally got into the YouTube space in what would be considered the beef sector. It's a bunch of people that just get on panels and argue. I found it entertaining. I thought it was fun. Then I started realizing that these people actually do. A good number of them have mental health problems and or are narcissists and or are playing characters on the internet. And I'm real big on just being consistently me everywhere. So there's still times that I am on panels, that I still, do the panel discussions if there's something that I feel I have the ability to contribute towards. I'm always up for collaborations. I love talking about stuff, period, with people, especially high level conversations. When it starts getting too low level, I'm like the boring guy on there that's spouting facts. But I got behind this camera, realized that anybody could have a camera and a microphone, and I was like, why not me? Most of these other people don't know what the heck they're talking about, or they're blatantly lying on the internet for clout so they can get subscribers because they want to live here. Why am I doing this? Specifically, for me, this is my way of leaving the breadcrumbs for my family and friends that as this wealth gap widens, I'm not going to be willing to sit down and talk to you. And that's just the reality, because when I wanted to talk about it, you didn't want to talk about it. You guys brushed me off. And I'm not going to say that I'm petty, but I'm a little bit petty. And so, like, I'm going to have other stuff that I want to do. And, like, when you guys are wondering why I'm zooming around doing the stuff that I'm doing, making the moves that I'm making, and coming from the background that you all know that I came from, and being able to completely outdo the odds that were laid out for me with no assistance, I'm not going to be apt to stop what I'm doing or what I've got going on to sit and talk with you. So I'm leaving these videos. This is a whole documentation of everything that I would say pretty much about how I got there. And not only that, I'm being kind enough to actually record these videos and these this documentation as I'm doing it. So it's not like, oh, I see a lot of content creators out here, and apparently everyone on the internet's rich, and they're just like, hey, I've got $100,000. I'm just going to throw it in here and build this portfolio, and then I'm going to document it so that I can get a bazillion subs, which actually, I honestly think they buy these channels with subs already on them. That's just my thought, just looking at the engagement versus the engagement that I get with the numbers that I've got. It just doesn't seem like there's, I don't know. There's some discrepancies to be had there. I don't know. But, they just get on here and they're just rich and they're preaching to you from the mountaintop. And I know people don't like to listen to people who don't have the social proof. But, like, if you're getting results, you're getting results. So, we're documenting experiments and results over here with my money. So, like, this is actually my livelihood. You guys could see me go broke and end up homeless, and then homeless people still have smartphones, so I'll be able to, like, give you the monthly update from the street corner or whatever. But that's why I'm here and why I'm doing this. Now, let's go into backgrounds and receipts. So, I am an uneducated dummy. That's the first thing, which is why I love it so much, because everybody hates to see, people say they love to see the underdog win. They don't like to see the underdog win. Let's be honest here. They're like, oh, well, like, what do you know? Why are you talking about money? It's because, technically speaking, because year over year, my net worth's increasing more than yours, and I got the receipts for it. My portfolio is doing better than yours, and I got the receipts for it. I'm generating income that you say I shouldn't be able to generate, and living a life that statistically I'm not supposed to be able to live, and I got the receipts for it. I'm doing it legally. So then they hate you. Then they don't want to talk to you. Then they want to look for ways to discredit you. I discredit myself right off the bat. Like, I don't have a college degree. I'm not that. I don't consider myself that smart. I was a C- student. Like, I was an average student. I had my classes I did really well in, and the ones that I didn't care about, I didn't even try in. And, like, I am a failure of the school system. It went both ways. The school system failed me because they don't want to teach people things that are relevant or important, because most of the people that graduated that were smarter than me, unless their families had money, they don't have, their net worth isn't where mine is. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to talk about finances. They don't like talking about that stuff. So that's first. I worked for a decade in service industry, which is why I'm polite and courteous. After that, I did some warehousing, and I was traveling. I break dance, so I was traveling for dance, competing, doing all that kind of stuff. Yes, I did that competitively. I've done it professionally. I've been on TV once, and I'm still pretty good at it for an old guy. Like, I still do it. Unlike Tim Ferriss, who just, like, hails back to when he was in college getting his degree about breakdancing. And that is an open call out to Tim Ferriss. Somebody send this to Tim Ferriss. I will battle you anywhere, sir, whenever you're ready, because it's a culture. You don't stop doing it. I understand that Ewan's probably stopped doing it. It's cool. Me personally, still very actively doing it. I train, I work out. I like working out, obviously to stay in shape for dancing. And moving forward, warehousing, did that for probably about 3 years. Got into mental health. I worked in mental health, specifically in applied behavior analysis. Those who know, if you know, you know. which should gain some sort of insight into the way that I break some of these things down for those of you who have experienced the industry or understand what applied behavior analysis is. I'm one of those people, if I'm ingrained in something, I end up learning it. Now, I did back office work. I'm really good at chasing down numbers and people stealing money. Those are actually some of my under the radar specialties. Like, I'm a numbers guy. I like money. I find it interesting. Financial math comes very easy to me, and it's really easy for me to tell if you're stealing money or jerking me around. Worked in that field for 6 years. Worked for a company that was one of the first companies in Missouri when it was only temp coding, which was when I got in. There's standardized coding for it now because everyone's on the spectrum, apparently. And I was the biller and coder and the credentialer for a company that was one of the first companies in the state of Missouri to turn a profit. We got bought out by a nonprofit. I worked in nonprofit for 3 of those 6 years, got some mentorship from the CEO for a year and a half, almost 2 years of that company that bought us out, made some connections there via networking. I ended up getting into the field of home automation, which I have done henceforth. So I've got 12 years in the home automation field. Another gray area field. Startup is kind of my jam. I like that. I've always worked in small business, small, medium-sized businesses. I enjoy the build. I enjoy the grind. I enjoy the hustle. As long as we're winning, as long as there's like a result. And usually in small business atmosphere, you get to see the result. There's not a lot of people. The cream rises to the top, not to the crop, but the cream rises to the top. Shout out to Macho Man Randy Savage. And I learned a lot while I was there, transitioned that culmination of skill over into home automation. I've been doing that for almost 13 years. Pretty good at it, it's for those who are not in the know, $1 million and up smart homes. We do Crestron control systems. That's all I've worked with. So I've got 13 years working with Crestron control systems. We're there from start to finish. So it's part construction, part IT. You're touching on all phases of a home build. We're running line, which I'm exceptionally good at. We're doing system install, fabrication, programming, and testing. Oh, that thumbs up. Oh, that's cool. Programming and testing, and troubleshooting. And I'm really good at the gray area, the troubleshooting. I do like that, running into complex problems. It touches on networking, very minimal coding at this point. They kind of have us in sandboxes, but I do enjoy it. You're always learning something, designing home theaters, like movie theaters and houses, replicas of what you see when you go to the movie theater. We do very high-end, very expensive movie theaters. And you get exposure to a high-end clientele. Around the same time, a little bit after I started in home automation, I got into Bitcoin. So this is where the financial receipts came from. So I'm an advocate. I started my financial journey reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad and hating going to work. I still hate going to work. And fast forward, it's a bunch of elevator knowledge, I would say, is what I call it. It's like stuff that people read so that they can say, I know that, but their financial situation doesn't get any better. And I did that for a long time. And then I got to a point to where I was going to work. I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. I never seemed to have enough money. I did not like the situation that I was in. And I started to apply the knowledge before I found out about Bitcoin cryptocurrency. But the opportunity struck me in 2013. One of my roommates at the time asked me if I was still building computers every year. And I was like, yeah. And so he sent me a parts list and he was like, hey, if I order these parts, could you put them together for me? And I was like, absolutely. But why? And he sent me the Bitcoin white paper. And I looked it over and I was like, no middleman, It eliminates complaints about racism. There's no racism in the market. And it seems like it's this up and coming thing. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get rich next week. You know, like everybody who comes in, that's the thought process you have. It's just there were no altcoins at the time. It was just Bitcoin. So I built this Bitcoin miner. And I was like, hey, if I'm going to build you one, I'm going to order those exact same parts. And I'm going to build one as well. And so we had those Bitcoin miners and we just kind of passively mined Bitcoin because you could still do that back in 2013 at your house. We lived at a place where we didn't pay for energy. So it was even more beneficial for us. No one knew what Bitcoin was. So having two computers just running in your house all the time, sucking up energy, nobody batted an eye. No one ever said anything to us. And we did that until those computers broke. Fast forward, you know, we started getting into some of the altcoins. Like Ethereum came out, we missed that boat, but the next coin behind Ethereum was, what was it? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. But anyways, we got talked into getting hyped up about this coin that was supposed to destroy Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we bought into it heavy. It peaked, goes on through the Bitcoin run, and I remember that I'd been mining all this Bitcoin. So I was like, oh, I need to get that money. I'd been mining it to my coin, to a Coinbase address that I set up because I didn't want to worry about losing the keys. But one of the things that you forget if you don't log into anything at this juncture for a long period of time, you end up having re-authentication issues. And since it was a bull run, I went back and forth with Coinbase the entire bull run of 2017 or 2016, but it's 2016 late going into 2017. And I had about a year of back and forth with Coinbase until Bitcoin crashed. And then I finally got the information that I needed to log into this account. Now, mind you, the Bitcoin miners that we built cost roughly $800. Bull run's over. I lost a bunch of money on paper on that altcoin that I bought instead of buying Ethereum and Bitcoin, which is what I should have done, and trying to be long-term holders and getting bought into that because Bitcoin, I was passively mining. You don't know about what you don't know. Everybody, like I said, I started off in this market trying to get in and get rich next week, like most of you before you get here, hopefully, because we're not talking about next week plays here. Lost some money, but I walked away with profit. And I just kept it in the market. I didn't cash it out and go buy stuff because it really wasn't anything to buy. But you know, if you go from $24,000 in profit to $3,000 that you actually get to walk away with, it still hurts because like you could have had $24,000. Now you got like $3,000 that's extra. But I got into my Coinbase finally. Get into my Coinbase and there's $6,500 sitting in there. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, okay, I can be in this market long term. And so moving forward, I've been an advocate for Bitcoin ever since. I've still been an advocate for altcoins, not an advocate per se, but I've still invested. I just invest differently. I invest into the altcoins for the bull run, and then peak bull run, we trade off the altcoins into Bitcoin and Ethereum or whatever you're holding long term and move forward like that. Like I learned what they were for. And it's been an adventure ever since. A couple of the things that I've accomplished from being in Bitcoin, I was able to get into property ownership. So the house where I'm recording now, townhome. I mean, people get semantical on the internet. It's a house to me. I live here, but it's a townhome in the downtown area of the city that I live in, which is awesome. And right before COVID started, I was able to wipe out $35,000 in credit card debt, which for those of you watching, we're currently knocking down another $30,000 in credit card debt. Not that I have bad spending. We just had a bunch of stuff come up and we're using the credit a little bit different, but neither here nor there. You can go through the Debt Crusher episodes and that's all explained in there. Was able to pay off $35,000 in credit card debt and get a down payment to get me into a home. back at 2019. So I have one of those juicy low interest rates that everybody says they're impossible to get now. I bought when everybody was saying don't buy a house. Because the field that I was in, we deal with rich people. We build expensive houses, and they did not stop building those expensive houses that entire time. So I never got laid off, never had to worry about work. I never had job security issues. Also used the amount of money that I was making to leverage myself into a profit sharing position. So I'm part owner of a company that I work for. I get a piece of the action. So that's pretty nice. A little bit of an upgrade in life. Netted some, some additional income off of that at the time, negotiating, what have you. And I pretty much thought I was going to be set just doing that. And I've been doing it ever since. Like that was the strategy, though. I was just buying Bitcoin, buying crypto, leveraging into as much Bitcoin and crypto as I could. And then I found out about high yield dividends once they released the Bitcoin ETFs, because now all these crypto products are spilling over into the traditional finance space. Now, mind you, during this time period, I had completely nuked out and cashed out, took the hit on a 401k. I went all in on Bitcoin. And when I say all in at the time, like Bitcoin was 80, 90% of my net worth up until I bought my house. And I mean, it's still probably above 70 is my long-term holding crypto portfolio, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. But there became other tools available after crypto spilled and started taking over and eating up the traditional finance space. So we have things like MicroStrategy, we have Misty, we have Mist, we have all of these products now that just continually come out. And I started learning about in-home banking. I learned about velocity banking, and I'm starting to learn in a way where I'm like, hey, I'm going to test these things. So as I add stuff to my strategy and I'm building out these portfolios, that's where it's coming from. I've been in Bitcoin for over a decade. I've put in my research. I've been out here. I've made money. I've lost money. I've lost more than most people make in a year. Actually, I've lost more than more people make in a year in a few weeks. And bounce back. You take your licks, you keep going, and I have built up to where I'm at. There is not a college course in existence that's going to give you that information or knowledge. There's not a piece of paper ascribed to that. It's just how long have you been doing this with Bitcoin, in my opinion. I mean, maybe after we get out another decade or so, they'll be like, hey, like the college bros are not going to be able to understand, because everything that they're going to be learning from is stories of stuff that I actually lived through and experienced and was a part of. So, I do tip my hat on that. I was like, I got a PhD in Bitcoin. I also have a PhD in home automation. I'm really good at that too. But those are the receipts. Moving on to the next thing, and we're just going to, like I said, we're freestyling these. I'm sorry if it's not perfect, but my episodes aren't perfect. This is how I record. This is what I'm doing. I don't live here, and I'm not selling anything. So you're welcome for me sharing it with you instead of keeping the entire channel private until somebody asks about it or somebody in my family needs the information. Like, again, Jim amongst swine. Also, I've got a good group of people that kind of like whatever hokiness I have going on with my schizophrenia talking to this camera by myself in this room. My ideology around money, for me, after everything that I've read, and I am constantly researching, some of my more hardcore Wolfpack members see me in other comments of videos that they're watching, making comments. And I'm active in the finance community. I'm constantly doing research. I like hearing new ideas. I like talking about strategy. I like talking about money. So those are things that I do for enjoyment and leisure. It kind of helps me. I'm constantly thinking, doing, and acting in regards to that ideology. And people will be like, oh, well, you're obsessed with money. And it's like, no, but I know that not having money doesn't give me as much opportunity as having money. Like, I like having options. I like having the option of where I live. I don't want to live in a neighborhood and then the neighborhood becomes unsafe and I can't afford to leave. I don't want to be trapped there. Those people who are in those situations, and some of you might be in those situations. Some of the people watching this video might be in those situations. You have a lack of options because you have a lack of money. And I'm not going to willingly relegate myself to that and just sit there in that and accept it. So for me, money equals opportunity and ability too. I don't look at the money and go, oh, I got to flex on this, because like, honestly, I'm not impressed like by your bank account. Like when I look at that, I go, you're losing money every year because you're not beating inflation. Oh, well, I invest in the S&P 500 and I'm trying to diversify. And it's like, cool. You're not trying to get wealthy. You're trying to like keep your money at minimum where it's at. You're just trying not to lose buying power, which is cool. There's levels of this. I look at it as simply opportunity, and I want to have as much opportunity as I believe I need. That's not necessarily, oh, I've got to go have a Maybach. Oh, I've got to go have a Gucci robe. Oh, I've got to go have this. Mind you, I will have nice stuff. I do like nice things. I do have nice stuff, like, but it's strategic nice stuff. It's stuff that I want. I don't buy stuff to flex on other people online. I mean, honestly, to me, that's corny. I'm around a lot of rich people. No one does that. Like, it's just not a normal thing. Like, I have clients that are into cars that have Lamborghinis. They don't throw their Lamborghini in people's faces. They actually go out and race. They're part of car clubs. They go do track times. They're really into cars. They're really into the engineering of said car. They like Porsches. They're really into the engineering behind Porsches and can break it down and have an hour conversation with you about Porsches because they're into it. It's different than what you're marketed to on the internet. Like, nobody for real outside of basketball players and entertainers that has money is throwing it in people's faces like that. So my perspective is a little bit different, but I do want to be able to navigate the way that I want to. I want to have the opportunity. I don't care about the stuff as much as the ability to. So that's my ideology about money. So get that out of the way. Purpose of this channel, we trying to get rich over here. The wolf pack is trying to get rich / wealthy, whatever. You can enter, those words are interchangeable to me, but it's putting yourself in a position to where you have maximized the amount of opportunity that you have. Something goes wrong, you have the ability with money to fix it. You need to move, you have the ability with money to fix it. You want to go on a trip, you have the ability with money to do that. You can facilitate what's needed. Change it. Getting a set of tires for your car is not something that makes your heart jump. Being able to replace a vehicle, being able to, cut down to liability because you are self-insured on your vehicle, because if the vehicle gets into a wreck, you ain't even got to worry about whether it's totaled or not, because you can afford to just replace it and it's going to be okay. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what, and since I am, I guess, the alpha of the wolf pack, since you guys come to this channel and see me, that's the intent. Nothing that I'm positing is going to be about, oh, you gotta save what you got. Like, no, I'm swinging for the fences. This is what I got. This is all I got. I got one shot. I'm not going to be one of those people who's a recipient of a hefty inheritance. Like, that's just not in the stars for me. I've got to do what I've got to do to get where I need to be. And I'm willing to exercise all options on that. I do more or less enjoy going to my job most of the time, but I don't want to have to. I don't want to have to do anything that I don't want to do, which is kind of the ethos behind everything that I'm doing. Like, I can get a job, I can enjoy the job, but I'm always trying to replace the job. So I base everything, like what all the stuff that I'm doing right now, my strategy is based around my income right now. As long as I'm able to sustain the lifestyle I have right now, if I were to have to work less, that would make the lifestyle that I have right now awesome. The lifestyle that I have right now is pretty darn good. I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I've always got to have projects. Obviously, I go put in a 10, 12-hour day. I come home. I'm recording here with you guys, or for you guys, by myself in this room talking for another hour or two, plus the time to edit the thumbnails and do all those fun things. I'm pretty much working from the time that I get off to the time that I go to bed. I have maybe 2 30-minute breaks, maybe. So a total of an hour and a half, 2 hours of downtime before I go to sleep, including the time to shower, get cleaned up, and eat. So I'm dialed in at all times. That's just the way that I'm wired. So it's what I'm doing. But I don't want to have to. So the purpose of this channel, obviously, is I'm trying to get rich. I don't know what everybody else is doing, but this is me documenting that journey. And one of the last caveats is I don't make over 6 figures. I understand everybody on YouTube makes over 6 figures. My job is part IT, part construction. I am nowhere near 6 figures. So everything that I've built, I've done it from a space where they're like, oh, you're not supposed to be able to buy a house. Well, I wasn't making 6 figures when I bought my house. Granted, that was a little bit different because I bought in 2019. Understandable. Stuff has changed moving forward. Again, I guess in that respect, I'm talking a little bit further up the mountain than some of you. But I've built everything I've got now and am continuing to build without making 6 figures or anywhere close to it. So, I mean, I'm making above average salary. I mean, statistically, but it ain't much. like it really isn't. If you believe the people out here in these YouTube streets, it's nothing. So the fact that I'm able to consistently grow my net worth, consistently grow these portfolios, own a place, manage it, own my car, I can't say that I'm not. I mean, the consumer debt that I've got would be mind-boggling to some of you guys. Like, I mean, I guess I call it cost of doing business because most of it is asset-backed. Again, if you jump into some of the other, probably the bag talk videos, that playlist is where I'm kind of touching on these things a lot. I don't look at asset-backed debt the way that most of you guys do. So when I look at it and they're like, "Oh, you got $30,000 in debt," I'm like, "Well, technically speaking, the portfolio that's tied to, it's I actually have I don't have any debt because my assets are over what that debt is. So if I needed to clear out a portfolio, I could wipe that debt out within 48 hours because that's about how long it takes for it to get to my bank account. And then I could send it from the bank account, pay off all the credit cards, and we call it good. But they're sitting at 0% interest, so I'm not going to do that. I'm not in that much of a rush. We're making some other plays. So I can't say that, oh, I'm debt free or whatever, because I don't necessarily believe in that, considering the results that I'm getting. And again, I come with receipts. I'm not coming with armchair quarterbacking of, oh, that won't work or whatever. I'm telling you literally and showing you the portfolio. We have a debt tracker episode. We're tracking the debt. We're tracking all my portfolios. I show the portfolios. I give the actual receipts, and then I give the metric for scaling it out because I believe in transparency and telling the truth. So all of my portfolios that I have, you guys get to see them. And I think that that's kind of important. So it's not a conjecture. It's like, well, when the portfolio is doing well, I show you. Also, when the portfolio is doing bad, I show you, and we have a conversation about it. Lastly, on the purpose of this channel, it's like I'm putting this content out here, obviously, for my family and relatives later, because once you start getting results, your friends and family are like, oh, I need you to sit down with me for 3 hours to talk about this. I'm like, I don't have 3 hours now. I have 3 hours now, but you're watching this in the future. And now Ray does not have 3 hours. He's living a different life. He's probably working on something else, probably figuring out different ways to make value, might be traveling, speaking. I don't know. But I don't have 3 hours to sit with you now. I had 3 hours to sit with you now, and you didn't want them. So since you didn't want them, now you got to do it this way, but I've already left all the breadcrumbs for you. And after you get through all the content and have some usable questions, some useful questions, some intelligent questions to ask me, something specific that doesn't take 3 hours of my time, then get back with me. Until then, keep watching the videos. All the playlists are down there. There are probably a bunch of them too. There's a bunch of content. high key likely will still be making content. I probably will still be uploading videos, so you'll have the current stuff too, but it's not gonna be the same as like when I'm going through it. So you might want to go find out where I was at and kind of jump in there so you can see how I was navigating, because the game will have changed by then. And we're going to leave it on that. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to go through my 5 tenets of the wolf pack mindset, starting with tenet 1. And these are 5 tenets that need to be understood to understand where I'm coming from. And I'm going to riff on them. Tenet number 1, nobody's coming to save you. This is something that I 100% understand. To the tune that, like, after I started working on this, I stopped asking for anything that wasn't owed. Period. I'm not going to come in and ask you for a raise. You don't want to give me any more money? Fine. I'll go hunt it down myself. And I'll hunt it down so efficiently that eventually it'll be a cost negative for me to show up and work for you. And so I won't. No one's coming to save you. It's no one's responsibility for your financial situation but your own. If you don't get paid enough at your job and you hate that job, quit and go find a job where you can get paid more. If you don't have the skill set to get paid more, go get the skills while you're still working at the job you hate. If you're at a job that you're fine with and you're just not going to make any more, figure out other ways to make money. Side hustle. Start working on your financial plan. Start implementing some future financial strategies. I mean, you're here at this channel. Stop expecting people that are using you as a resource to pay you what you're worth, because it doesn't work like that. And the more entitlement you have, the less chance you're ever going to have of getting rich, because no one's going to make you rich unless you're fortunate enough to work at NVIDIA and you took part in the stock option. That man made all his people rich. If you're working for a leader like NVIDIA, you are lucky and you need to ride that train because you'll be rich eventually. For the rest of us, no one's coming to save us. No one's going to take responsibility for our financial situations. No one's going to make your life better. No one's going to make what's going on in your head better. No one's going to fix you. You have to fix yourself. There are no excuses. That's the reason, like, I only have so much going back and forth with people, because if I'm getting results and you're just sitting there as a nondescript person on my channel telling me what I'm doing is trash when I'm making money every month and my net worth's going up, my stock portfolio's filling up, I'm about to have to not go to work. You still got to go to work. You're just mad that somebody else is out here winning who's not as smart as you. That's your problem. I don't care. Have fun staying poor. I don't care. That's not why I'm doing this. So that's tenet 1. 100% accountability. We're taking control. No one's in control of our narrative. We are going to use the strategies. We're going to test stuff out. We're going to figure out what works for us, because one of the things that these gurus out here aren't going to tell you is finance is an N of 1, which means everyone's individual situation is a little bit different. So certain strategies that work for me in my situation might not work for you. But I try a lot of them. And we go through a lot of them and we base it on math. So maybe, while not everything works for you, the way that I navigate finance, most people don't have the risk tolerance for it. So that's going to be a barrier for a lot of people too. Fortunately, I'm going to be doing some episodes on the de-risking that I'm doing along the way to kind of backpedal, and actually not even backpedal, but like offset some of the volatility. We don't want to give up most of it, because that's what makes people rich, the volatility. But I'm going to have some stuff in there that's not conventional stuff that's less risky. That might work for some of you. And yeah, that's where we're going to be at for for tenant one. No one's coming to save you. We have to be 100% accountable. As you're testing stuff, as you're working through your finances, you got to understand that nobody's going to care about your money as much as you should be caring about your money. No one's going to fix your situation. You got to fix it yourself. Moving on to the next one. Tenant number 2, the middle class is being destroyed. If you are in the middle, if you are like me and you make middle class wages, hold on. Let me, oh, we don't want to use that. Hold on, let me look it up. Okay, for those of you who are in the middle class, we're gonna, because I wanna go ahead and make sure this is accurate at the time of recording. Okay, in 2025, the income ranges for the middle class in the United States is generally considered to be between $49,500 and $148,500. If you are in the middle class, and that's from a wage perspective. So we lined out the wages. I'm going to pull up one more real quick for you. Hold on, I want to make sure we're in 2025. Ooh. Okay, from a net worth perspective, because I don't like wages. I don't like wages. I don't like the wage conversation. The average net, okay, so the average net worth in 2025, and this is the average, and then we're going to go to the median, is $480,000. Dang. I got to get rid of some debt. We're on the way, though. $480,000. That is wild. That is wild. That's the typical, the net worth of the typical middle class household. Okay, wait a second. That's household, though. That's 2 people. Most of those households are 2 people. I mean, this is going to change over time. It's going to be 1 person. And oh God, that's crazy. The median net worth, though, the median worth for all U.S. households is around $192,900. Significantly lower than the $480,000 net worth. Oh, for all. Typical middle, typical. So the median, actually, that's the one that we need. It's it's around $192,000, which is cool. Like, okay, so I'm solid. You got to understand that those are danger zones. They're being destroyed. They're being targeted. I've said it multiple times. We are in the midst of a financial war. And if you're not a participant, if you're on the sidelines, if you're trying to passively make it through, you're probably not. You're probably getting ready to get replaced by AI, or a cyborg or something, Android, whatever. The other dangerous part of it is you're likely comfortable. So not only are you not referencing what's going on around you, you're currently comfortable. You're a frog in a pot of water on a stove that they're slowly turning the heat up. And by the time the water gets hot, you're like all these retired boomers that when the market went down, they had to go get jobs at Walmart and go get jobs putting the fries in the bag. Tenet number 2 that needs to be understood is the middle class is a danger zone. The middle class is being destroyed. You are in a destruction line. The way that this wealth transfer will play out and will play out moving forward is you will either be rich or you will be destitute. And as that middle class gets shredded apart, you got to pick a side, which is why, again, back to the goal of this channel. We're documenting ways to get out. because I am in middle class wage land. It is dangerous. I don't like it. Large expenses destroy you. You look at the statistics, most of you don't have $1,000 in the bank. Most of you can't scrape together $1,000. Anything goes wrong, it's over. Life's over. You're grown doing menial jobs, making barely above minimum wage. And you're grown. You can barely afford to pay rent. And you're grown. Not trying to be doom and gloom, but if you are in that area and you're not working to better your position, and I'm not necessarily saying go chase a bag and get a better job, because like that's not necessarily going to fix stuff either. But you better be good with money, and you better be in a position where you go, hey, I go do this menial job because I want to, because I want something to do. Because I'm not an advocate for sitting around doing nothing. I'm not going to be drinking tahinis on the beach. Now, granted, I'll probably be at least a few months out of the year. I'm planning on being outside the US and like doing something, either getting myself into a position that I can do it remote, or I will just be traveling. And, you know, the way that we're going to be set up with the checking and the savings, the way those two things line up together, we're going to be making money no matter what, but I'll be doing stuff while I'm gone. And then when I come back, I can go get one of those menial jobs. I'm going to take one of your menial jobs because I'm going to outwork you, because I'm still going to be a good worker. And I'm going to be healthy, and I'm going to be stress-free. I'm going to have such a nice life. And do that, go get me some insurance and be chill while I'm here until the next adventure. But that's going to be a decision, not a have to. And I'm not going to be sitting there complaining about what they're paying me, because most likely I'll be making more than everybody who's there that's not owning the place. Period. So, and I'll definitely be worth more than most of the people there, or wherever I'm at. So it's, I mean, there's just going to be no conversation, period. Not, again, receipts, lifestyle, whatever. But we need to understand that the middle class is being destroyed, and like we have to navigate this battlefield. Tenet number 3, you have to be in the market. You have to. We don't have a choice anymore. Our grandparents, your parents, for those of you that are millennials, if you're younger than millennials and like they didn't get to do this at all. You don't get to go get a job for 30 years, just work at the plant, and then the plant takes care of you, and hopefully your back's not blown out and you can have some semblance of a good life going on vacation once a year. One income household where you got the stay-at-home wife, the nuclear family, and all. Like, no. You cannot do that. You have to be in the market. You have to be an investor. You have to have a plan. You have to have financial literacy. If you don't, you're just out here losing at everything, because nothing's going to be afforded to you. Nothing. You can't just work through life. Like, I mean, it's not fair. It's not. Our predecessors sold us down the river. It's not fair. But we are responsible because we're existing in it. And unless you want to be homeless or in some kind of shelter system or on Section 8 with those people or worse, we have to deal with it. We have to. Like, we don't have a choice. Like, we just got to be good with money. Things are bad. It's time to toughen up. We got to gird up. We have to be paying attention to the macro markets. We have to be paying attention to what's going on around us. We have to be positioning ourselves to not be reliant, so that we don't have to go, oh, well, it's this job's fault that I'm broke. Like, you choose to go there. How is it their fault? They offered a wage, you took it, and now you're complaining. That's your fault. You took that job. You chose to not build the skills while you're at that job to get a different job then, if that's what you want to do, or to start putting away enough money and start getting some income generated, start increasing the velocity of your W-2 income so that you can get out of the matrix. again, we're going back to nobody's coming to save you specifically. Last I checked, there were not limos pulling up to save any of the poor people that are working at these jobs that they're complaining about the wages at that they agreed to go work at for the wage that they're getting. No one's responsibility but your own. And on top of that, no matter how much money you're making with inflation the way that it is, you have to be in the market. You have to. They forced it to where everybody's got to be in the market. Everybody's got to be in some sort of asset because inflation benefits the people that hold assets. The people that are holding cash, living hand to mouth, paycheck to paycheck, you're able to buy a little bit less every month, every year. You can buy a little bit less. And as those years compound, then that wage that you agreed to that was fine 3 years ago is no longer fine. But that's your decision because you ignored everything getting a little bit more expensive over those last 3 years. Also, you chose that job. Also, you agreed to that pay. Because if you're relegated to what somebody else gives you, then that means you're a slave. I don't know anybody who's signing up for that in 2025. I don't know. We come a long way. I'm just giving you the truth. We choose our jobs. We choose what payment we will accept. Now, if you're doing something transitionally, don't get comfortable there. There are transitional jobs. You would see me putting the fries in the bag if I needed to in a pinch. Transitionally, I'm not going to be there for 10 years and then wonder why I'm getting paid put the fries in the bag wage. Why they don't want to give me more than a 10-cent raise every year. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that guy. If you got to complain about what you're getting paid, go get what you're worth and then don't show up at that job. If the value proposition isn't there, don't go. Don't do it. Then you can have that conversation from a stance of, I can just stay home. That's a different conversation than, I need you to give me more money because I got more bills. I got more whatever. I had this kid. That's not their problem. They didn't accrue those bills. They didn't have those kids. If you want to be the final say-so on what you get paid, go start that business yourself and you hire people. It all comes back to you. But you have to be in the market. You don't got to listen to me. You can go listen to anybody you want. You got to do something, because if you're just sitting in cash or you're living hand to mouth, the world's going to be a terrible place for you moving forward. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. Hopefully you got a family where you might get a house or something and get some generational wealth, but like that's only going to hold you over for so long. You might not be able to live out the rest of your life on that to destroy your family's wealth. Okay, moving on to tenet number 4. Inflation is theft. More accurately, inflation is a tax that is imposed on everyone that is invisible, that people do not understand. The reason, and this is crazy because they've got y'all mad at the store. They really do. They have you mad at the store as though the store is just making stuff more expensive. And in some cases, there could be a case for price gouging, because I've seen some people do some screwy stuff in the high end markets over these tariffs. But your stuff gets more expensive every year anyway, period, because of inflation. When the federal government prints money, they are literally stealing buying power from me, you, and everybody else. The difference is rich people don't experience it the same way that the middle class and the poor do. We experience it worse. I'm still middle class. I don't like it. But when you go to the store and you notice you can't get as many groceries as you could because you got a budget, and that budget just eking up, is bad. And they're taking money from everyone because they're diluting the money that we're using. When they print more dollars, that means the dollars that you use off your credit card, because I mean, unless you work in service industry, shout outs to y'all, you got no tips on taxes. That's a win. Let's call it. Unless you work in service industry, you normally probably don't have cash on you. You have cards. But when they print money, the dollars that you're using out of your card that's imaginary money becomes extra imaginary money because it dilutes the value of those dollars. So as a business, now that the dollars are worth less, you have to charge more because the tangible item, this Allen wrench that I'm holding, is still an Allen wrench. The thing that changed is the dollar value went down, which means that I've got to charge more for this Allen wrench because it's still the Allen wrench. These AirPod Pros, Pro Max, whatever, there's still this tangible item. The stuff, the components, the all the stuff that goes into this, plus the person who had to build it, all still exist. And now we all collectively know that those dollars are less. So now I gotta pay more for this. As you go further out in time, that dollar that's in your pocket, if you keep that dollar in your pocket for 20 years, you'll be able to buy less, in order of magnitude, less stuff with that dollar. It's theft. They're never going to stop doing it either. They're always going to print money. They're going to keep printing money. They're going to print us out of our current issues that we're going through right now. The debasement of the dollar will not stop, which means the further out you look, the less you can buy if you're sitting in dollars. That means that all of your tangibles, this goes up. Apple's stock also goes up, which is why if you're a stockholder, you get richer. In theory. Because now they got to charge more for those headphones. The stock, now they're making more money. The stock value goes up. And if you pick good companies with good growth, you're outpacing inflation because people really like Apple stuff. And that's the reason, back to tenet number 3, you have to be in the market. You gotta be in the market. If you're not outpacing inflation, you're going broke slowly. The money that you have in the bank, oh, I got X amount of money in the bank. Great. But you know what? That interest rate isn't beating inflation, which means that money, even though you're seeing the numbers tick up ever so slowly on the screen and you have $10 more on your $1,000 after 4 years, you can buy an order of magnitude less stuff. The $10 doesn't cover that. Now you're still going broke. And it's not going to stop. That's the system we live in. It's probably not going to change in our lifetime. It's not going to change in our kids' lifetime. It's not going to change in our grandkids' lifetime. It's probably not going to change in our great-great-grandkids' lifetimes. Like, that's what we're navigating against. You're in a very slow quicksand, and assets, additional income, being able to manipulate your finances to where you're generating outsized income to where you can capitalize on your time. Those are all things that kind of help you step out of the sand. But if you're just standing in place, if you're just going to work your 40 hours, your 35 hours, your 30 hours for some of you who are trying to do the bare minimum, 25 hours, subsisting at the edge of the bottom is still terrible. I mean, unless you're going to be homeless. Like, if you're completely homeless and you just don't do anything, then, like, sure, you can work from that, because you're either rich or you're destitute. And if you're going to be destitute, then just don't do anything and sleep outside. Like, then you don't have to worry about paying rent or anything. Like, that's actually better than putting in the excess effort to do the bare minimum to figure out how many hours do I need to work this month so that I can pay my bills and utilities. And then just doing that. Like, and then being concerned, like, what if your rent goes up? What if utilities higher? What if you break something and have to pay for it? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't want to live like that. So there we go. Last but not least, the last tenet, and this is my thesis My core thesis: Bitcoin is the answer. Bitcoin is the answer for the average everyday man. It's the answer for those of you who are subsisting at the bottom of the edge of the barrel. Might not be the answer for homeless people because like you got to be able to buy it. You got to have some sort of income, but like they're out of the system. Bitcoin is a way for the rest of us to opt out of the system. If you don't want to be in the quicksand, Bitcoin's an elevator. Our monetary supply is inflationary, which means it goes down in value over time. You can buy less stuff. Dollars are worth less now than they were in 1940 by an order of magnitude. Bitcoin is deflationary. It's an escalator. It's constantly going up. Oh, it's choppy. It went down 30%. They keep saying Bitcoin's over. Yeah, but if you look at it, like I started buying Bitcoin when it was $6,000. It is now, as of today, $107,000. We touched 107 today. You're talking about small windows of time. From 2013 to now, we're up $100,000. We're outpacing inflation. It's the answer, which is why all of my strategies incorporate something that's either touching it or Bitcoin itself. And honestly, in most cases, most of the strategies, the goal is to be able to buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like Ethereum is my second place. And we're constantly buying those. Like it's a game changer once you actually start putting money away in something and you can buy a lot more stuff versus a lot less stuff later. It is my metric of measurement. If I'm not getting at least 20 to 30% a year out of something that I'm invested in or generating outsized cash flow, I don't want it. There's no point. It makes no sense for me to put my money there because I could just buy Bitcoin and wait 4 years. A year later. I don't sit the rent money in Bitcoin, but I sit darn near everything else in Bitcoin, especially if it's long term. Like if I'm like, hey, I don't need this money for over 4 years, Bitcoin's where it sits in most cases, unless it's something that I want to generate money on. I'm trying to generate some income while I'm waiting. And it's people don't understand. People don't understand its importance. And they won't understand until they have to. And unfortunately, for most people, because they have a poverty-stricken mindset, they have a mindset that's very fixed, that's not adaptable. They're not willing to hear or listen to people. They tell people they're crazy. People told me I was crazy and I was going to lose all my money in 2013. Most of them don't even want to talk to me now because we're nowhere near each other. I'm like, I don't know you. Who are you? Oh, you're the person who told me what was going to not work. Well, what worked for you? Where's your portfolio? Where's your wealth at? Are you working hard or hardly working? Because it looks like you're working real hard and you're complaining about everything and you're stressed. You can see it on your face. You got excess wrinkles from being impoverished while working hard because you didn't get the assignment. You weren't willing to listen. You already, oh, I know that. I know that. Well, if you're so smart, why are you broke? It's a question a lot of people need to ask themselves. Like, what's your trajectory? Why don't you know where you're going to be next year? Why don't you know financially why don't you know when you get to stop working? Is your retirement age the retirement age? Wow, that's impressive. So you did it the no-brain way, and it's like, what? You can't speak the language, but you got all the opinions. Oh, I know that. I read that in a book. And I know because I was there. I've done that. People will get Bitcoin at the price that they deserve. And regardless of whether you are a proponent of Bitcoin or you hate it, because you're seeing people that you consider less smart or not as good as you just completely destroy you financially in a short period of time by comparison. And by short period, I'm talking like 5, 10, 15, 20-year windows. But they're just destroying these traditional dinosaurs that are, I'm going to do what my grandparents did, or I'm going to do what they told me to do. I'm going to do what the system told me. Like the system wants you to work until you're about dead. They want you working hard until you're about dead. They want to extract every resource from you until you're about dead. They want you miserable. They want you just over broke. They want you desperate. They want you unable to think. And Bitcoin is the answer because it's deflationary. It's an escalator going up. It's the reason I have such a hard time selling it ever. Most of my Bitcoin goes into cold storage, is never intending to come out. That's going to be generational wealth at some point. Maybe leveraging it here and there to like boost some other things that I got going on or fund some stuff. But my income portfolio that I'm building around, that's, you know, tied to this, monetizing the volatility and generating cash flow off of the volatility of Bitcoin, I should be able to self-fund anything that I want by the time that I don't have to work anymore, which, for the record, projecting, because we're doing the numbers, is 27 months or less. This year, we will likely be back into and this will be another 6-figure year for me. The last one that I had was going into 2019. That was a good year. I was making a lot of money in DeFi. And you know, haven't had one since because it was not going to be consistent. But the traditional finance stuff doubled with my income, because like now I'm a 2-income household by myself. Like I basically have turned my brokerage account into a mediocre cocktail waitress. And so like I'm generating an additional form of income that's given itself raises. Now my first year doing that portfolio, I made $13,000. And my goal this year was to double it. And we're probably going to be maybe tripling it. Like law of large numbers with compounding and the way that I have my finances set up, like this thing is turning into a steamroller quite rapidly. And, you know, we're doing things so that we don't have to sell the Bitcoin, also so that we can buy more Bitcoin after we get through this debt. The Bitcoin buys getting turned back on. We'll be buying Bitcoin, probably buying some more Ethereum also. And I'm pretty excited about it. I'm not gonna lie, like it's great documenting what can happen in spite of all the people who are out here who are telling you and selling you things that you need them to have somebody just tell you the truth and show you. It's kind of wonderful. And Bitcoin was made for us. I understand that a lot of the news, it's like BlackRock's getting in, Fidelity's in, all these people, Bitcoin supply is getting sucked up by institutions, which is great for me because like I'm riding that train and I'm going to be buying some more also. But it was made for the people that are working hard, that aren't given the opportunity or the information to maximize that money that they're working so hard for. I've seen my grandparents, my parents work themselves to the bone and have nothing to show for it because the financial literacy piece wasn't there. I have an amazing work ethic. It's in my genes. It's genetic, it's cultural. I grew up seeing everybody work hard. I did not grow up seeing everyone get the results that they deserved for that hard work. Most people don't. That's the reason it's called the 1%. And some people, you can say, oh, well, they were given that or they got lucky. A lot of them work really hard. A lot of them sacrifice family, sacrifice relationships, there's a cost for everything. Nothing's free unless you're just given money. And normally those people just crash out and burn it. They don't accomplish anything. They're not people of note that were just like handed a bunch of money and then get to live some super cush easy life. Because they never knew struggle, never did anything. There's no character development. You just start off at the top. Like that's not interesting at all. And Bitcoin gives you the ability to actually see that growth, to see that maximization. And, it's changed my life greatly. I am a believer. And also, I'm a believer in math. There's no better horse in the race. So I'm going, okay, well, we're trying to get rich over here. I'm not diversifying. Everything's based on that. I'm in my lane. My lane is Bitcoin. As much as of a career as I've got in home automation, and I can say, oh yeah, I'm a home automation technician, systems design, whatever, blah 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 blah. More importantly, and this is my Babe Ruth. I'm calling the shot. As far as somebody who started from nothing with no assistance, I am a damn good capital allocator. And you can take that to the bank because I'm tracking my results. I'm giving the receipts. The results are there. The growth is there. We track our net worth every month. We track in those portfolios, my traditional finance portfolios, every month. I got a Robinhood portfolio that was a small portfolio that I spun up that we've been working with every week. Crypto portfolio updates every week. Now, honestly, my altcoin portfolio that we track for crypto portfolio updates is actually the loss leader in everything that I'm doing right now. Because we're waiting for alt season to kick in. And you got to take your L's. You got to get kicked in the teeth and you got to hold those L's. But you know what? Overall, we're still not doing that bad. We're still doing good. And I'm here for it. Like, that's my take, is Bitcoin's the answer. So all of my strategies you will see will in some way, shape, or form touch Bitcoin or be based around Bitcoin, because I don't need to deviate. What I do is I diversify within the segment of what I'm focused on. I do that, which means that there's multiple different facets. And I'm going to do a video on portfolio strategy, because we're doing future financial strategies, and it'll be a collective of my ideology on how I've built out my financial. Actually, you know what? It'll be my financial strategy, like how I'm building out all of my finances. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to touch on everything. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be my future financial strategy. That's what I'm going to do, a full breakdown. That's going to be the next video. This one is one of the longer ones. It's going to be the landing video for future financial strategies. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys got a lot of value. I hope you guys kind of understand the craziness that is Reckless Raid Dinero and where I'm coming from, why I beat my chest so hard, why I'm emboldened, why I'm excited, why I look squirrel and just be going off on tangents. I hope this gives a little bit more of an understanding. And for those of you who resonate with that, welcome to the Wolfpack. You're one of us. That's cool. I mean, no disrespect to anybody else's tribe, but like, since I'm making these videos, I gotta build we gotta have our own tribe over here. So for those who resonate, props, hit the like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe. If this has got you, I mean, the little bit, I don't believe in motivation, but like, there might be a little bit of motivation in here. There might be, I don't know. But yeah, tap in. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Are you rocking with me or are you rocking against me? And if you're rocking against me, I still want you to come watch the videos, because like, I want you to be upset that I'm winning. Like, I need you to understand that. I need you to put out all that negative energy, because I eat it up and turn it into positive orgons on my end. So thank you for hating. But those of you who are in the Wolfpack, I know y'all rocking with me, but like, hopefully this touches somebody, because you're not out here by yourself. And against popular belief, every single person on YouTube is not a gazillionaire, where everyone's not rich. A lot of these people are given highlight reels. I think it's BS. I think it's disgusting. I think it's disingenuous. And worse yet, they have horrible takes that are dated, that don't work based on math. So as I say regularly on this channel, I feel like somebody's got to tell the truth, and I'll document my story, and we can do this march together, 1 foot at a time. Nobody's perfect. Not every month's going to be perfect. Not every week's going to be perfect. We're just recovering from a 30% kick in the teeth where everybody was like, Misty's over, Bitcoin's dead. Now we're back to 107. My income portfolio, which I don't care about the growth, but you know, I'm super happy to see it only down, you know, under 12%, around 12%. We were looking at 30 for weeks and buying. Like we just got kicked in the teeth and just started eating our teeth. Like we were just like, put some more money in it, throw it. We ball. Like, come on, let's get it. So, you know, we're doing the work. We're recording through the good and bad. These episodes, the schedule is the schedule, and you know, we're sticking to it. So thank you for tapping in. I really appreciate everybody who taps in, who shares their stories down in the comments, who wants to converse, go back and forth, even the people who tell me that I'm dumb, which isn't that many people anymore. Like when I first started, there were definitely a couple of people who came in because I was talking about Misty, and they were like, those products are trash. And you know, here we are with the good, just making money, getting projected out to be making more money, and we over here smiling, we working through it. So you know, maybe it is trash, but we're gonna ride this trash and redistribute that income that the trash is producing accordingly, so that we can get rich. Till next week. Obviously, Future Financial Strategies is a weekly episode. So till next week, people, it's your boy Reckless Radenaro, and I'm out. Peace.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games. Nah, I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.